The 9 Open Semana Santa San Vicente del Raspeig Costa Blanca 2025 Grupo Aronda 5 witnesses a strategic modern defense standard defense as Murzin faces Ilinca. On e4. On g6. On d4. Bishop g7. Knight c3 leads us into modern defense standard defense. On d6. Bishop e3. On a6. Knight f3. Murzin is planning to play Queen d2. Knight d7. On h4. On h6. King castled queenside. On b5. On d5. Knight c5. Knight d4. On b4. And establish a winning position. On b5 played by Ilinca. Bishop d3. Bishop b7. On a4. Threatening pawn takes b5. On b4 played by Ilinca. Threatening pawn takes c3. Knight e2 played by Murzin. Murzin considers playing Queen d2. Knight d7. Queen takes b4 and dominate the board. Knight f6 played by Ilinca. Threatening knight takes e4. Knight g3 played by Murzin. Knight bd7. On a5. On e5. On takes e5. On takes e5. King castled kingside. King castled kingside. Queen d2 it is novelty move. Threatening queen takes b4. Queen e7 played by Ilinca. Rook fd1. Rook fd8. On h3. Knight f8. Ilinca intends to play Knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. Bishop takes e4 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Queen e1 played by Murzin. On h6. On c3. Threatening pawn takes b4. On b3 played by Ilinca. Rook a3. Threatening rook takes b3. On c5 played by Ilinca. Queen f1. Threatening rook takes b3. Rook ac8 played by Ilinca. Knight d2. Murzin is aiming to play Bishop takes a6. Bishop takes a6. Queen takes a6 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Knight e6 played by Ilinca. Rook takes b3. Knight f4. Threatening knight takes d3. Bishop takes a6 played by Murzin. Bishop takes a6. Queen takes a6. Rook a8. Ilinca is looking to play Rook takes a6. Rook a1. Queen e6. King h2. Bishop f8. Knight c4. On h5. Rook b6. Queen takes c4 and seizes the initiative. Queen b5 played by Murzin. On h5. Rook a1. On h4. Knight gf1. Queen e6. Bishop takes f4. On takes f4. Queen c4. Murzin considers playing Queen takes e6. On takes e6. On a6. Knight d7. Rook b7. Knight e5. Knight f3. Knight takes f3 check. Pawn takes f3. On c4, and increase their advantage significantly. Queen c6 played by Ilinca. Rook b5. Threatening rook takes c5. Rook dc8 played by Ilinca. On a6. Rook takes a6. Rook takes c5. Queen takes c5. Queen takes c5. Rook takes c5. Rook takes a6. Knight d7. Knight h2. Rook b5. Rook a8 check. King h7. Rook a2. Knight c5. Knight hf3. Knight d3. Knight c4. On g5. King f1. King g6. On b4. Rook b8. Rook d2. Rook c8. Rook takes d3. Rook takes c4. On e5. King f5. On b5. Rook c5. On b6. Bishop takes e5. Knight takes e5. King takes e5. On b7. Threatening pawn promotes to queen at b8 check. Rook b5 played by Ilinca. Rook d7. Murzin is aiming to play. On c4. Rook b1 check. King e2. King e6. Rook c7. King e5. King d3. On f5. On c5, and establish a winning position. King e6 played by Ilinca. Threatening king takes d7. Rook c7 played by Murzin. Murzin is aiming to play. On c4. King d6. Rook takes f7, and take decisive advantage. Rook b2 played by Ilinca. On c4. Murzin is planning to play. On c5. Rook b1 check. King e2. On g4. Pawn takes g4, and seize the initiative. On f5 played by Ilinca. On c5. On g4 take a moment to spot the best move for Murzin. Pawn takes g4 is a strong choice, since Rook b1 check. King e2. King d5. Pawn takes f5. Rook b2 check. King f3. Murzin have small advantage. Let's go to the main game. Murzin is preparing to play. Rook c6 check. King d5. Rook b6. Rook takes b6. Pawn takes b6, and secure a stronghold in the game. Pawn g4 played by Ilinca. Rook c6 check could cost the game. Played by Murzin. King d5 victory for Murzin after a hard-fought battle. Ilinca resigned, conceding the game.